Rise and shine with Global Entertainment News Morning Pulse. I am your host, Bella, ready to kickstart your day with all the fresh news and story. And right here with me, bring his own spark to the studio is.
Steven,
Let's dive into today's headline fresh from the leadership and Daily Post. Top story from the Daily Post. Class suicidal job. Nigerian graduates speak amidst high employment rate. The level of unemployment in Nigeria has forced certain classes of people to take up jobs that they ordinarily would not even contemplate, let alone take. This is what the political scientists would refer to as class suicide. In those golden eras in Nigeria, white collar jobs were exclusively reserved for the university graduates. There were enough white collar jobs for the university and polytechnic graduates in Nigeria. But today, the story has changed. According to a 2023 report, Nigerians graduate unemployment rate was estimated at 8% for those with post-secondary education. This simply means that a significant number of graduates are struggling to find employment opportunity. Another report equally noted that while overall national unemployment rate is reported at 5.3% in the first quarter of 2024, youth unemployment report as 5.3% in the first quarter of 2024. Youth unemployment, including those with upper secondary education, remain higher than the national average at 8.5%. This situation has led to mass class suicide. The development also lent credence to Martin Luther King Jr. infatuation that if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward.
well, I hold that statement by Martin Luther King. Definitely, with what is actually happening in this country, you know that people tend to use this word spoon and scam
Yes,
because they
it's
know
now
that
generating
yeah,
in Nigeria.
because they know that the our government everything falls to the government because if most of these agitations the governments make in their campaigns there will be a lot of employment for people, there will be this, there will be that. When they get there things get hard because you see someone that goes to after finishing from school for you to even get a job that you believe that okay after using how much in school. There are some people definitely if you accumulate what you actually wasted in school from not even from your 4 years, from right from your primary school till that extent, graduating and everything, you can't get a job that can actually pay you at least 300,000, 400,000 a month. And you'll be seeing people settling for jobs of 70K, 50K. And within that month alone, you spend like 30K inside your salary. So I think it's actually very bad. But you see someone that doesn't even, has not even gone far at that level. Probably he knows someone in the particular level, they push you to that stage and everything. So I think our government really needs to work into um, things with the right things to do to actually create this job opportunity for graduates. If not, it will keep on discouraging people going
From
to school.
school. Exactly. Well, let's move on. NSCDC nabbed for suspected vandals transporting stolen transformers cables from Kano to Lagos. Operative of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) Ondo State Command have arrested 4 persons suspected of vandalism while allegedly transporting telecommunication cables, wire, and electrical transformers components from Kano to Lagos. The suspects, Mugaji Ibrahim, Umaru Adamu Abba Umazu, and Adamu Idris, were arrested at the Old Ore toll gate along the Lagos Express in Odi-Ibo local government area of the state. According to the spokesperson for the NSDCC in Ondo State, Daniel Ademembo, the arrest followed actionable intelligence received by the command. They were apprehended while transporting vandalized telecommunication wire BEDC equipment such as transformer parts, high tension cable, coppers, and armored cables, and other cut-to-size metal objects from Kano to Lagos, Adan Bembo said.
Well, my kudos to the NSCDC for actually sweeping into actions, be able to
Exactly.
apprehend those group of criminals because these are things that we should always be careful of when it comes to electricity cables like this because we do hear cases about people that vandalize these things on the street. We also hear cases of people that die in the act also, transformer theft and everything. And probably this one has been one that has been done recently and probably in the past stored in a particular place, now being transported to another location to be sold or to be used. But I think this is it's very, very bad as we as a citizen in our own country, we are the one doing ourselves. We are the one actually okay, this thing is being stored now. Definitely the areas where these things are being stored from, they will not be like that. There's darkness and everything. And I think we really need to try to curb out this vandalism up in the street
Exactly.
everywhere. Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Our allies created sustained insecurity, Plateau government moved, moved wag. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwag has said that Nigerian elites are the architect of the insecurity ravaging the country. This was as he accused the elites of creating and sustaining the monarch of insecurity, which has claimed thousands of lives and destroyed property worth billions of naira. Government Mutfwag stated this at a stakeholder meeting elites dialogue on community policing as a pinnacle of insecurity in Nigeria, the case of Plateau State. According to him, the allies have contributed to deepen communal division and must take responsibility for reversing the trend. My theory is that more than anybody else, the challenge of insecurity in Nigeria are an allied created problem. When the allies conspire to lead the people in the wrong direction, we will continue to have this preliminary crisis, he said. The governor further explained that while the poisoning of mind may often start at the community level, the elite has the power to halt such narrative if they choose to.
Well, I see this as something as also serious also because if this is happening within um, the people in the coin in a particular state, it's actually very, very wrong because the rate at which insecurity has actually ravaged the two states is alarming. Every day we hear cases of kidnapping, we hear cases of theft, we hear cases of killings in the farm, this and that, here and there. And we always see the government was silent enough. Now we have seen that it's actually a Mali somewhere. People actually different airlines group are actually creating conflicts between themselves to actually split the state. But I think the governor himself, as the governor of the state, you have a lot of power. Your veto power is there. Try to place an order when it comes to even the state of emergency. Do something that actually these people you know their names. Definitely call their names. Call me. I don't know why some people are always very, very have this cowardized behavior in doing things. Call these people names. Let's know what's really happening. Let's know who are the people destroying your state, causing havoc in that state. Let's know what's happening. Then we know we know the best way to move
Exactly.
and to curb things like that off.
Exactly. Well, let's move on. Flood revenge Borno community leave two dead, dozen homeless. At least two people have been confirmed dead after a perennial downpour triggered a severe flood in Gumesuri and Wobi community of Damboa local government area, Borno State. The flood, which took place on Sunday after 12 to 13 hours of rainfall, left many residents displaced and devastation. Intelli survey shows that nearly half of all of the residential structures in the flood-affected community were severely damaged or totally submerged. Many families went to higher ground and moved from their home and their tents. The residents described the situation as critical. They are calling on the government, humanitarian organizations, and individuals with good intention for help, such as emergency accommodation, food, and medical aid. We are overwhelmed, says a community elder in Kumishiri. Many have lost everything. We fear more bodies may be found as such efforts continue, he said.
Well, flooding, another case of flooding. Um, I think this actually the first time I'm hearing since the flood ravaging Borno State, because we know Borno to have when it comes to highland structures and everything. But I think this will be those ones living in the lower lands and everything. But a 12 to 13 hours downpour of rain definitely it's going to cause floods in so many places. But I think all these things are something that should have been
Avoided.
prevented, avoided rather, to actually to be able to get to this stage of people being displaced, family properties being destroyed and everything. I think the organization in charge of things like this to actually swift into action, because definitely when it comes to flood like this, you can't actually count numbers of dead bodies, because a flood can actually take you from here, take you thousands of miles away. Being displaced, you don't even know where you are again. Definitely, I think more stars should actually go on and let's know the number of people that have been displaced, that needs
Exactly. And those that
accommodation,
have lost their life.
and the government of the state should come into this, create probably a refugee camp for some people to actually stay for the meantime, create more accommodations for them. At least that is what the government owe the citizens.
Exactly. Well, top story from leadership newspaper. 149.39 trillion debt sustainability risk loan as state liabilities surge. Experts have expressed concern about debt sustainability and potential risks like a debt trap and sovereign default. Recent data from the Debt Management Office (DMO) shows that Nigerian total public debt stood at 149.39 trillion naira of March 31st, 2025, reflecting a sharp increase of 227.7 trillion or 22% compared to 121.6 trillion recorded in the same period of 2024. The debt office attributes the hike to both increased borrowing and the impact of currency depreciation on external debt, particularly due to the naira devaluation. Experts have recommended immediate fiscal reform and improved revenue generation to address the situation. Well,
But this is actually very, very alarming. I tell you,
exactly.
149.33 trillion naira. Well, we actually, well, let me use the word we are gone already, because we're not talking about million, we're not talking about billion, we're
For
talking about
trillion.
trillion. Just imagine counting millions, trillions, 900 billion. Now we're going to trillions of naira. Well, I'm scared of this. I'm scared for this country, I tell you,
I'm scared.
because
My own fear is this particular leadership, this regime that we are in
yeah,
right now.
because we even got, I think, was it not last week, we were hearing about the president actually submitting another loan
Request.
request for another loan again, where we are still up to. I tell you, any administration coming in after this administration, over this present administration, I tell you, they can't actually recover this loan back. Within 2 years, we have this kind of loan already, but we still have how many years to pay?
2 more years
Two
to
more
go.
years. I tell you, if we're not careful, this 1.49.39 trillion naira will be doubled. If we can actually get this at this, I mean, just 2 years, where this money is actually going to, we've not seen.
Nothing.
I'm not seeing where this money is going to. The most places I see this, we just imagine a president moving from one place to another. You see like 50 cars following the president.
Following him.
What are you protecting? We have so many things in this country that we've not seen before. These cars, they're buying fuels to them. Most of these cars are being run. Most of them, some of them, okay, let's say some of them are electric cars, some of them are CNG, some of them are diesel. But these cars are being fueled every time. These are the money that are being wasted, and this we should know how we manage funds in this kind of crisis, because most of us, you will see a senator itself, a senator alone has escort of like 7 cars following he or she. You see ministers, the same thing. You see honorable, the same thing. All these things are, and this money is coming from the Nigerian post. These are the money we are being paid almost every month. This money, if you keep all this money in those, it can actually, it can create more than 100 schools for people, create more, so many infrastructure, so many health cares. So where the government really should be striking things off, cutting things off from here to be able to pay all this loan. Because if you are thinking of imposing, within 2 years now, we've seen so many tax reform
Reform
and
and all
everything,
that.
debt everywhere, imposing things on people. Now we've seen USS started their own imposing things. I think this, instead of imposing this on the masses, impose these things on your own administration. This money will come outside. If you
Exactly.
are doing this every month, I tell you,
Cutting their salaries and then trying to.
from all administration, Nigeria can actually save up 50 billion naira from all this. If we are doing this every month, I tell you, within 2 years, we can recover this money back.
But our leaders are very greedy. I'm going to use that word. Our leaders are very greedy that they don't even want it, a drop of their salary to be misplaced because it's going to be a right. Why would you cut off from my salary? That is the as people that are not ready to lead, but all they care about is just to take in, not for them to lead the people. Well, let's move on. Court sentenced beggar, street urchins to community service. Some beggars and street urchins arrested and prosecuted for violating the state's environmental laws have received community service as punishment from a mobile court in Ilorin, Kwara State. The presiding magistrate, Jumoke Bello, sentenced the offenders to community service in line with the provisions of the Kwara State Social Development Law. The mobile court is situated within the premises of the Kwara State Ministry of Social Development, Ilorin. Leadership gathered that the beggars and the street urchins were arrested at different locations in Ilorin, metropolis by officials of the ministry. A government source told leadership that a evacuation of beggars and street urchins from the streets of Ilorin was part of the strategy to beef up security in state capital. The Commissioner for Social Development, Dr. Mariam Ima, led the ministry enforcement team in evacuating the beggars and street urchins across the streets, such as Post Office area, Taiwo Road, Asa Dam, Gerin, Alimin, and Tankwe, all in Ilorin.
Well, it's not even only Ilorin, I tell you. There are so many states in this country where beggars have actually ramped the whole street. You will see, especially the ones they call the
Almajiri,
Almajari.
Almajiri.
Yes, you will see them. They can actually escort you from a particular. If you give them chance, they will escort you to your house, begging you for money. I think these things are. If we can't say the government that is not providing for things, but most of these people they see this begging as
A
a
business.
profession already. You see someone you give him money today, the person that can actually forget you in the next 2 minutes and come back to you again. Because most of these people and their kids on the road, you see them being slated everywhere, begging from where to where. We are not saying we some people will say we are being stingy not to give beggars money, but there are some things we really need to avoid. If not, you see some people say that they don't even have issues. They prefer going to the road. You see
To the
someone
streets and then start
you will see
begging.
someone on suit. Will tell you the way the person is going to compose the lines for you. You'll be like, see the one who want to even jump up from your eyes because you'll be like, okay, take. So they are everywhere. I think we should actually look for a way to actually reduce this, but we can't stop
Exactly.
it permanently because we know how the country is, and people are really suffering. People can actually get 3 square meals. So people have not even seen a square meal per day. But I think there are so many ways you can actually reduce this.
This begging of a thing. And then talking about the security part, I think that is very important because recently there are most those beggars on the street that was being caught with guns and all that, even into kidnapping. So I think that all this thing needed to be caught by government, not just the in law, not just the but every part of Nigeria needed to start looking into this beggar and reducing their forces in Nigeria. Well, let's move on. Imo police arrested mastermind of child kidnap syndicate, rescue theft minor. The Imo State Police Command has arrested one Annie Ngozi Onyewa from running a child kidnapping and trafficking syndicate and rescue 12 minors. The 42-year-old suspect, Onyewa, hailed from Umwedin Ohekene in Ngo Opala local government area of Imo State. She was arrested on June 20th during an intelligence-led stop and search operation along the busy Warri Aba Express Road in Imo State. Okoye disclosed on Sunday evening, even as the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Aboki Danjuma has condemned all forms of child trafficking, restated his commitment to safeguard the rights and dignity of every child in the state. According to Okoye, police operative after the arrest of the suspect rescued 12 minors kidnapped from different places in Ngo Okpala local government area of Imo State and then trafficking to Aba in Abia State for street begging to allegedly raise money for a motherless baby home in Rivers State.
Well, trafficking, child trafficking, dog trafficking has been the order of the day in this country recently. I think, well, we've seen cases of people being apprehended, so many cases of people being apprehended. But I tell you, most of these things are out there. They are out there. If most of them are just being used as scapegoats. If one person is being caught, other people try to look for all alternative, probably move their syndicate to another place and actually look it's when someone is being called to get experience from. Most of these people, they know themselves. They know who
Exactly.
they work with and how they work. If one person is being caught, the other people try to flee for a particular time, probably change their location or something. But I think we really need to start to get this very, very serious when it comes to trafficking in this country. We've seen cases of people here that this person is missing. Some of those missing cases are not even someone that are dead already. Probably being kidnapped, taken to a particular place. You see someone being moved. There was a case of a girl that was being kidnapped in the morning, as the early hours of 6:30 in the morning. Before 4 o'clock, the girl is out of Nigeria already. The girl was actually found I think in Benin or Ghana, I guess. Within how many hours, it's actually moved away from the country. That kind of things is something we really need to get serious with and stop and search in the country actually should probably increase or something.
Exactly. It has to increase. There was one I heard about that those streets, most of those beggars on the street that you see them with big tummy and illness was just actually a work of one man that think that taking other people's children from the village and then bring them down to the city, feed them with some kind of a concussion to make their stomach look round and big, just to put them on the street and be using them for a beg. And that is really sad. This thing needed the security personnel of every state and every country should switch into action and then make sure all this trafficking and child abuse needed to be stopped. Well, let's move on. KB government confirm another bandit attack of Mopol base. The Kebbi state government has confirmed that a transiting bandit attacked the visiting Mopol base at Makuku Town, Sakaba, local government area of the state. The gallant troop engaged the criminal in fierce exchange of fire during which a police vehicle was burnt but without human casualty. The Director of Security Cabinet Office, Abdurrahman Usman Zaga, confirmed to journalists at Bagodo that the government immediately sought air support and reinforcement for soldiers. He said a fighter jet responded while infantry was deployed and normalcy was restored to Makuku town. However, he commended the efforts of the security personnel investigating the incident to the community delight. Mopo will be maintained in the area.
Well, another cases. We just keep hearing cases of bandits, keep cases of attack. I think this with these 2 years of this administration have been one of the most
Terrible one.
reported cases of attacks and everything because we don't know where this is actually coming from. But this can actually be political infiltration where people try to oppress each other, but it's causing the life of the masses, it's causing the life of people. People are being hurt in so many cases. Just imagine the whole base being attacked.
Exactly.
The people who are actually going to be looking up and say, okay, we trust these people to protect us are the ones being attacked. Where is now the trust again? Even the masses cannot just walk on the street again because if we hear cases of soldiers being attacked, we hear cases of police being attacked, we hear
Exactly.
cases of now, we hear cases of Mopo. Who is not protecting us against this country? If people can easily be attacked anyhow, then we are not safe. Probably everybody should just look for a way to protect each other.
Protect
Or we
ourselves.
start living like the Americans.
Exactly. Well, we have come to today's end of the show. Thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Show. I have been your host, Bella. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, have a blessed and lovely day. Bye.